But here's an interesting thing. So my boss, who I really like, worked
Mm.
for most of the pandemic, and basically, it seems like up until I came along, by himself, even though he was supposed to have somebody working with him.
Mm.
And he is just not very good at creating
Communicating.
plans, you know? It'll be the kind of thing like I will be in the middle now, if anybody here bakes, you know that if you have just put cake in the oven for 35 minutes, you cannot leave and go do something else. It's not like you can take the roast out, it's not like you can just set the roast for 2 hours and walk away from it. It's like if you don't keep an eye on it, all the work you've done has just been wasted. And so sometimes, like
Explains
this
why
just
my
happened
baking
today.
doesn't work.
I was I was in the middle of something and he just looks at me and says, "Oh, this should happen, da da da," referring to an event that's happening like 3 days from now. And I'm like, "I'm focused on this." So I had mentioned this too in my discussion with, when I talked to everybody. I said, "I've got a calendar. I have a white on, write on board for the month. I have a white erase board for today. This is how I keep track of everything. I have every event we have to do on a Post-it, and I put it on the calendar." And I've shown that to him so many times. I said, "You need to understand, I need to see this. And when you're saying, 'Oh, yeah, we should do blah, blah, blah,' I need you to go point to the date and the event you're talking about." Because in his mind, it's all clear. In his mind, he knows what he's talking about because he's had several conversations with the client. They know exactly what they're talking about. So for him, it's just a kind of extension of his thought process.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I think this gets back to something you were talking about, Tango, about communication and signs and stuff, which is like, if this entire department had a program where everything was on a calendar, where everything, where where things are not just done verbally, because we have a number of people who are verbally challenged. Um, that there's kind of a fail-safe system, and then when somebody says, "Oh, of course you didn't do it, I forgot to write it down," right? And that it's not on us to write it down so
Mhm,
that we
mhm.
remember. It's like, "No, you're the person in charge." That's called communication, because then we all know what we're working from.